Hello and welcome, everyone. Start today off with, well, even nature can't escape 2020 with a ball sack smashed in by a bear. You know that had to hurt. uh. Just wanting to play with a string attached to a fence. And he gets smacked in the nuts. All right. Well, if 2020 can't, or if Bears can't escape 2020, I don't know what else. I gave fair warning yesterday while streaming. We have a bunch of news today. Yeah. So let's get started here. We will start with everybody's favorite Justice Department lead, good old Barr, has announced that New York, Portland, and Washington are anarchy states. Seattle, Washington, and these are cities, sorry. New York City was among the cities labeled as anarchist jurisdictions. Defunding cops, basically, when the state leaders impeded their own law enforcement officers and agencies from doing their jobs, it endangers innocent civilians who deserve to be protected, including those who are trying to peacefully assemble and protest. This is 100% correct. If you are actually trying to protest, now mind you, it doesn't come up in current news. Well, let's say, the ones that do come up, Proud Boys, are trying to actually peacefully protest. They can't do it anywhere. And they know this ahead of time. I have my mixed feelings about that. If you know you're like an altercation is going to start because you've arrived. So, like I said, I'm torn. They have the right to free speech and the freedom to assemble and to protest. They absolutely have this right. And I in no way, shape, or form believe that they should be impeded to do so. However, knowing full well that you doing anything is going to instantaneously cause a riot because you know Antifa is going to counter you by, and then they're going to turn violent. They have the full intention of becoming violent, and knowing full well that the media will turn it to their favor in the end. So, should you go out knowing full well violence is going to ensue? Yeah, like I said, I'm torn. Yes and no. Yes, you should because you have the right to be there anyway. You have a right to peacefully protest without being harassed. However, again, no, because you know you're doing it to antagonize another group. It's really this kind of. It's a terrible situation to be in, and it is entirely brought on by both Black Lives Matter and the Antifa. And they keep doing this. They even went so far as to. I meant to look that up earlier, but basically, the Proud Boys said that they were going to be in Philadelphia this weekend. They put it up on their website. They put it on Facebook. They sent out all these messages. But what you didn't see was that the Proud Boys sent messages to all their members individually stating, don't go to this. This will be funny. And they didn't. They were never going to go to Philadelphia. They had no intention of being there. And so when they said they're going to be there, Antifa showed up in horde. And because they didn't have anything to attack and any Proud Boys to attack, they ended up attacking their own. So, yeah. They attacked one of their own, destroyed his car. Yeah. And then they attacked female reporters. And that's terrible. If you want further information on that, go head over to Tim Pool's. He's got a really good article about that. That's where I heard about that from. So, credit where credit is due on that one. It's not in most of the media sources. In fact, I meant to look into it deeper, but the cursory research that I did today did not even find it in the news, and this happened this weekend. So, pretty terrible if you ask me. Yeah, the Apple gets $7 billion in annual federal aid for cops. Yeah. Governor Cuomo. But yeah, so these are anarchist considered cities now. Now this does a couple of things. If he actually proceeds to set charges in place, Orange Man here can then consider sending in military forces to relieve them of their duties. In other words, by Barr doing this, he gives Trumpaluffagus an opening. Should Trump do that? No. The people who were there are about to be voted out anyway. Just kind of let that simmer and do its own thing. If it doesn't change after the fact, then maybe you move back to that option. Though there were riots this weekend in Portland once again. I'm not going to cover them exactly. But there were riots there again. They had a day or two or a week or so without them because of they say it's because of the wildfires or forest fires, depending on where you're at. I honestly think it was because when they did their first before they started their first re-up of the riots, during that little lull, all the federally appointed federally deputized state troopers went and arrested a bunch of the people that were let go on charges by the local police department. So they just went to all the people who were arrested and they re-arrested them and sent them through the federal system, where they're not going to get any leniency, or they're just not going to be let go. So this is a good thing. It might send a message to those cities. It says more than 100 consecutive. It was like 114 consecutive nights of protests, and they're starting up again. Ted Wheeler rejected letters from Trump for aid. Portland police voted department budget, but at least $15 million in June. But yeah, so good thing. Barr never letting me down. He likes to stay in the news. Maybe he'll run for president next time. I'd vote for him. All right. That's actually going to bring us to a different. Where is it at? I have. Hold on. Yeah. All right. So speaking of New York, they Black Lives Matter or Antifa or whoever spray painted F. Cuomo and de Blasio. Basically, they really wanted to get their point across in to Cuomo that they are unhappy with his current, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know. His current utilization of their funds that they give him every single week in taxes. So, to demonstrate this, they, in giant letter, now you got to think, this is a short box 18-wheeler truck. So, this is a fairly large truck. It's a large, but basically your largest U-Haul size. And that's, in the Cuomo, is bigger than that. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28 people. 28 people, and they're barely larger than the Cuomo. So they made it very large. It's amazing. All right, here, let's do actual math. So the front face of this building, each room is, let's do some math. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 60 plus hallways for 5 each. This is 90 feet across. And yeah, so the Cuomo is at about 88 feet or 87 feet in length. That's pretty large. Makes me laugh. But yeah, good stuff here. The people of New York really need to tell Cuomo and all the other Democratic leaders that they have elected, no more. Let's turn that state red. Because literally, if you take New York, if you split New York even, the rest of the state turns red. Most of the rest of New York is a red state. It's only the city that isn't. You know? So if you, now, and I'm saying that is in a majority-wise. Majority-wise, the rest of the state is Republican, whereas the city itself is massively Democratic, or not Democratic, but yeah, it goes for Democrats. So if you shift that even just enough. Now on the bad side is I'd be willing to bet most of the Republican individuals in the state were a part of the ones that left about a month or so back. They just basically abandoned it because they didn't want to die, because they knew they weren't a part of the mob that was currently taking that place over. But yeah, so that's a lot of fun. All right, Chicago. Now this one scares me more than most others. Chicago postal workers threaten to stop delivering mail after multiple employees shot on the job. Okay, so we're supposed to be doing mail-in ballots, right? Well, if the postal workers can't actually send you your ballot or go get your ballot because they're being shot to death, well, then what's the point of even trying to mail in ballot? And this is 100% due to the mail-in ballot stuff. There's so much misinformation out there. There are many liberals out there who think the mail-in voting, they think that's all because of Trump, that Trump wants that. No, Trump has spent this entire effort to stop the mail-in voting because it's not safe. It's not, you can't verify it. It's inherently easy with mass mail-in voting, not Now, mind you, if you do the absentee ballot stuff, you can, you know, by doing the absentee ballot stuff, you can, you know, there's a lot of checks and balances involved in that. Now, I have long since held a begrudging nature towards the voting system in general myself, because as military members, if you aren't in the state you are, your vote will be counted eventually, but it's not going to, when it comes to actual time frame, your vote doesn't matter. The military members, active duty military specifically, or any deployed guard or reserve units, your vote just is ignored. And that is a tragedy. Now, I know there are, if you go to the states, they swear up and down that your vote is counted. It is. They take it into, they receive your vote and they will count it if they have to. But if they don't have to, and that's all absentee ballots, by the way. If you vote absentee and the margin isn't within, like, I think it's like 4.8% or something like that, they don't even open the damn things. They just they just throw them away. They shred them and throw them away. Because your single vote isn't going to change the outcome. And I understand that. However, I find that extremely disheartening and frustrating. If I had my way, military members would get 3 votes. 3-1. Hey, JC. Hey, you changed your icon there, bud. Pretty cool. Wait, JC says, if you see me, when you wake, your soul is mine to take. What am I? The Grim Reaper? The only thing I can think of, bud. Oh, oh, that's crazy. With the okay, so in my little shadow box there, I don't know how well it shows up on the screen. JC has just the generic circle with the circle head, for the icon. But when you put it over the leaf from the Philadelphia police badge, it actually looks like almost like an entomorphize. That word's not coming today. Bye bye, wordy. It looks like a duck. I thought he had like a DuckTales thing going on there, or a cat even. I don't know, something animated. Haha. All right, so a day after the second worker was shot, another USPS employee was hit with a paintball. Again, that's not okay either. Like, shooting them with a paintball, not okay. Chicago workers rallied on Friday to demand that the city officials address the threat to mail carrier safety. Well, you can't do that because they defunded the police. You can't. They can't ensure your safety because there's no one there to ensure it. Now, on the flip side, you can't exactly have a cop in every single, U.S. Postal Service truck. That's unfeasible. The U.S. Postal Service employs far more people than the cops do per area. But yeah, so this is a big sign that there's something else might be. Somebody's trying to stop even the rather suspect mail-in voting system. And they don't state which areas these are. It says South Side, Chicago South Side. It doesn't say, like, I don't know enough about Chicago to know what areas are good and what areas are, high end, what areas are not. Where you would see the voting occur. You know what I mean? Like where the people would vote at. Like if you're in a high-end community, obviously you have a higher tendency, not a 100%, to vote more Republican versus, those who live in lower income areas. Now, if it's set up to the east side, I'd know where that is. I'd know that. Moving on up, baby. All right. Where's the all right. I'm trying to get through the kind of the short ones for the first part. The Biden does something dumb. There's a lot of them though. I got one, a couple of other ones. Anyway, so Biden said during a campaign speech in Philadelphia, about 200 million people will have died from the coronavirus in the U.S., or nearly 2/3 of the population. So apparently, there is a lot of job openings in the United States. 200 million. Oh, I meant to look this up, and I forgot to. I had it up, and I think I clicked on something. There's... Why do I care about that? I want all of America. We scurry in the shadows, eyes glowing red, traveling underground. We have no friends. What are we? Eyes glowing red. I don't know. Yeah. So there's 331,000 people in the United States. I don't know that one, bud. I want to say rats, but that doesn't seem right. I don't know why. That seems too on the nose. Biden made a similar comment when he added several extra zeros to the nation's coronavirus death toll during a campaign stop in... Oh, Skaven! It is rats, then. Sort of. That is actually what I pictured when you put that up there, too. I pictured the Skaven. Stop in Pennsylvania, June. Now we have over 120 million dead. We have 120 million dead from the coronavirus. So they can say it's a mistake, or in my personal opinion, I think Joe Biden doesn't know the difference between thousand and million. There's a big difference, a huge difference. But yeah, I honestly just don't think he cares. He doesn't care as long as it seems outrageous. Not that 200,000 dead from the virus isn't outrageous. However, we still haven't reached the 300, and not that I want this to be a number we want to reach to, but it was 300, and now I can't remember the last part of the number, and I looked it up earlier, damn it. 300-something thousand who died in 2018 from the flu. We didn't shut down the world for the flu, did we? Or was it 2016? One of those two. Doesn't really matter. Well, we had a few years back that did worse to us, and we didn't shut the world down. And they like to tout that, Trump, he made all these mistakes. He reopened the U.S. too early, and now when we saw a massive spike. Well, guess what? All the countries in, like, uh, you know, uh, Dublin's locked back down again. So Ireland, Italy, all these places that took what people were touting as the better solution, minus Italy, mind you, they're all seeing massive spikes in regrowths too. The only countries that aren't are the ones who didn't close anything down at all. They've already done, it's already over with. It's done. They have 0 cases. Why? Population immunity. They reached, per capita, a similar ratio of deaths as us. It is going to be a ratio, people. We have a certain amount of people. They have a certain amount of people. They're not going to have as many deaths. So when they show you death numbers, don't take that into consideration as well. Think about the total population density. London does not have as many, or the UK does not have as many people as the United States. Not even close. They're a tiny little country that lives on an island. They're not going to have as many people as us. So their death toll in total is going to be far less than that of ours. The ratio will be similar, but the total death toll will be much less. As expected, you're going to get what they call herd immunity or population immunity eventually, where the virus is no longer, it's not as virulent in people. It's probably never going to go away. It's probably something that'll be in the United States forever. It will be the next chicken pox, and it will exist. SARS has not gone away ever. SARS exists in China, and you see them. Like, a lot of people have always wondered why, like, if you go to an international airport, you'll see a lot of Asian people getting off international flights with masks on. It's not because they're sick. It's because in their country, everybody wears a mask for the simple fact that everybody, you always have the fear of getting SARS or SARS-related illnesses. And this is a SARS illness. Now, SARS is not as easily transmittable, but it is transmittable, obviously, or otherwise it would have died out. COVID-19 is a variant of SARS. And so we now have SARS in this country. Guess what? Get used to it. Release the lockdowns. Let's get the economy going again. Stop the rioting. Wear your masks. Take the precautions. But the lockdowns and the threats of further lockdowns and the constantly berating me on the news, like, I literally have to sift through 40 articles about COVID-19 to get to one article that seems important. Not that COVID-19 isn't important, it's just not the most important thing. We know about it. The news must move on. We cannot talk about COVID-19 every single day. Otherwise, it's just fear-mongering is what it is. The left like to call the right warmongering. Well, the left is fear-mongering. In all honesty, warmongering is bad, yes. But fear-mongering is worse because you don't just kill people, you kill spirit. And that's not something that America stands for very long. But yeah, so Joe Biden put his foot in his mouth again. Number of the reported cases are 6.8 million, and that's not deaths. 119 and 512 total number of reported cases in the country, or of deaths. And this number, the CDC has said, is not correct anyway. They say it's about half that. The news did not account for the audit that the CDC did when people were dying of car accidents and they were test positive for COVID, and that number was then considered part of the COVID deaths because they got money for every COVID death that came into their hospital. Don't blame them for that at all. If somebody's going to give you money for saying something that isn't technically false, yes, they had COVID-19. Could it have contributed to it? I don't know. They got smushed in a car. Their death says smushed by car, But they could have sneezed because of COVID-19 caused them to to veer off course and slam into this car and get squished to death. Therefore, by proxy, that's COVID-19 death, right? And that's the logic used in there. Is it true? No. And they died of a car accident. There's cancer patients who died of COVID-19 as well. Not complications therein. They just had COVID-19 when their cancer finally got the better of them. So, I will put a note into all this. I'm just going to say it out. Farewell, Ruth Gator Ginsburg. She was not my choice, nor was she what I consider the best person for the job. But my lord, that woman dedicated every single day to making sure she was there. She was one of the most dedicated people in our government, and it is sad to see her go, because that's what we need more than anything else. Then we need any ideology or anything like that. We need dedicated people, and that woman was dedicated to the United States, and that is something commendable. And she will be sorely missed. And yeah, that's about it. I don't have a teary, heartfelt goodbye because, well, I don't. All right. We'll do another. Oh, did we? Oh, no, we hit 11:30. Let's head on over to the game. Trying to do this by time like I'm supposed to. All right. So, we have our Orky Workies over here, or our Gobos, should I say. And unspent skill points. Let's see. Ammunition. Always ammunition. Unspent skill points. Heroic killing blow. That's always a good one. And crack the heads. Blade shield and scarred veteran. Okay. Alrighty. Well, I will say this. They are trying their best to... Oh, hello. No, I am not going to do that. I'm going to decline an attack. Oh, you get squished. If I'm not mistaken, the guy who just ran over here had to be in march stance to get there in that amount of time, so... The other orc force decided to hightail it out of there.
I hear ya. I like a good plan. Get him. They're dead.
Well... Now we will build two siege towers and continue siege in hopes that they will sally out to attack me. Death from above. There we go. And what else we got? Wound maker. There we go. Come on, sally forth to attack me, good sirs. Yeah, that's a lot of armies all of a sudden. Question is, do I have enough to win this? Cavalry, 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 cavalry. Man, they got a lot of cavalry. But what they don't have is any artillery. Alright. I will quick save this. We're going to fight the battle. Now, do we leave our fate in Our Fair Lady Corner? Madam Corner Camp? Or do we sally out? I think we leave our fate in Our Fair Lady Corner Camp on this one. There's a lot of dudes and a lot of cavalry. I'm going to have to wait on reinforcements for this, so. Alrighty. Holy cow. Okay, so I have a reinforcement coming from there. I have my reinforcements coming from there. Their reinforcements coming from there. So, well, here's what's going to happen. Group 1. A group. And yep. All right. Let's try this. Let's hope that's I think this is the small set of units that are coming out of there. No, not really. Oh no, that's a big set of units. So I will gather up all of the Warg Army and create a lovely new front line over here.
What? Moving fast!
With a great tide! Moving fast! Run, boys!
Drink the brew! Let's get stubby! Swing up and... Warlord of 8 pigs! Like it! What now?
Alrighty.
Moving fast! Who can we stab? Moving fast! Where's cover? Moving fast!
They're trying to work against their buddies there. That's a lot of dudes on the field. Even my computer's having a bit of a chug with this.
Wah! Moving fast! Stickers ready! Ready! Stab 'em! Collect ready! Ready! Gonna kill him! Nice one!
Get out of there then. Oh, not you.
Running! Shifting it!
You can't.
Cracking move! Letting it! Whoa! Gonna stab us! Please, President Dan! Ulrich's teeth! Stabbing time! Stickers ready!
Get back here. Well, I lost the warlord.
Don't stop until they're all dead! Get going!
Yes. Watch them die.
Goblins! Alright! They will pay!
Slaughter!
Ulrich's teeth! Retreat! If you're wants it, moving fast! Get going! Fight for more! Ready!
Where are my catapults? They got destroyed. I figured as much. Ah, that's sad.
Wah! Nice one!
Well, poopy pants.
Now we strike! Forward, man! The gods have abandoned us! Better than them!
The gods have abandoned us!
Boys!
Where are all
Gonna
the
kill 'em!
archers?
Running!
I am going to take significantly more losses than I intended to doing this.
Me is better than them! Moving fast! Ready!
A little health regen there.
Boys, let's get him. Chopper's ready. Nice bit of scrapping.
Yep. Move out, guys. Move around, move around.
Shifting.
Sandwich.
Run, boys. Let's go. Boys. Run, boys. Filter.
Slaughter.
What are we doing?
I don't know. What are you doing?
Ulrich! They're dead!
Ah.
Goblins! Running! Alright!
Catch the edge. Yes, got him. Good morning, Karen.
Come lads! Slay 'em! Make me proud of the province!
How is your day going? This is going to be a very long battle, just so you know. And then I will continue the news afterwards.
Night is here!
But this battle is going rather poorly, if I do say so myself.
Where's the scrap?
We do it!
Ah. Come on.
Move
Back here.
fast!
Need to get my archers out of melee. And it is not going well for that. Oh my god, it is blobbed up so badly that I can't get things out of places they shouldn't be.
Ready! This stinks! Moving fast! We will kill them all!
You need to text. Oh, I will.
Gonna kill 'em! What?
I will try my best to remembers.
Boys. Brush him.
Let's scrap! Gonna kill 'em! We the war! Gonna kill 'em!
Show us the enemy.
Sigma demands blood!
Oh my goodness.
Goblins! Moving fast!
Get you guys out of the fray. See if that helps my killing potentials. Oh my goodness. It has blobbed so badly.
Stick 'em! Ha! Ha! Gonna stab 'em!
Oh, they keep rallying to break them via the other means. Alright, alright.
Better than them! Stab 'em! Run!
Alright, alright.
Here we go.
Move these over here.
Fast.
Move these over here.
Moving fast.
Move these over here.
Wah! Let's fight!
Yes, yes, yes.
Get out.
Getting a little bit of turnaround here. Keeping their troops muddled. Okay.
Who can we stab?
Right then. Run, boys!
Shoot at those over there. Want you to slam into the back of those.
Get going! Moving fast!
He is shattered. I don't know how many units I've sent to the other realm by this point, but it has been a lot.
Let's scrap! Running! Gotta stab him! Happy to help. Moving fast! Gotta kill him!
There we go.
Stick him! Fine! Fine! Let's
Fire at those.
Happy to help!
Ow. Why are you not fighting? Nobody does nothing.
By the comics, Lucas's head flew. Scarpa! We is better than dead.
Don't want to leave.
Running!
Those to shoot into the... Yeah. So as I remove troops from this side, they're not respawning, but extra troops come in this way. So my line over there is starting to falter heavily because of it.
Running!
As their reinforcements enter the field from that direction. Oh.
All right.
Get going! We is better than them! No stopping! The knights are ready!
I am running out of arrows.
Gonna kill 'em!
Might have to...
Goblins! Get going! Let's scrap! Knight is here! Gonna stab him!
Yes.
Swing up and
That should do it. Their morale is dropping like flies now. Apparently my warlord died a while ago. But that's okay. Or at least he ran off a while ago.
blood of our ears!
Right then. Now let's fight. Boys. Get out, boys.
Yes. Yes. Perfect. Keep going.
Swing up and this thing! We is better than them! Charge! goblins! Running! Run! We is gobos! Running! Let's scrap! Gonna kill him! Get out to ready!
At the ready.
Let's fight!
Shoot arrows at those so they stop shooting arrows at me.
The gods have abandoned us!
The gods have abandoned us.
As long as we draw breath, they will die! Gobos rule!
Don't one of these.
I was gonna say those should rally.
Mork says do it! The lads are ready!
If they want to come back, they can come back, but I can't afford to have you running all the way across the map.
Goblins! Let's get them!
Fire your weapons at them. Thank you.
Gonna kill 'em.
Now go kill them. Ooh, look at them. Look at them. They're turning now. They're all breaking. Yeah. Yes. Woohoo. That was a blobtastic battle. My lord, there was a lot of troops on the field. As always, almost 200 or 150 or more apiece for the archers. Almost 200 for this one unit with picking the crook choppas, man, they're really good, and they were in the thick of it the whole time. Forest goblins were no slouches either. But the key was killing him, or at least running him off, whatever it might have been. But he had to go. 4 armies versus 1. Well, technically 2, but. Alrighty. The spider took a beating though this time, but it held off like 6 whole companies by itself, so you can't blame it too much. Oh, look at all them. We are going to eat captives. And that was on their turn. Alrighty. Doo-doo-doo-doo. Finish the spin. And we'll head back to the news, folks. I have to wait for this to end, or otherwise it'll crash my game and then not save, and then I have to do that crap all over again.
Great and powerful war boss!
Oh. Okay, I guess Sly D. Mister died. I didn't think he died. Well, that sucks. I'll have to get another one. Let's see real quick. Still gives me that kind of odds? Poop. Well, that sucks. Alright, continue siege.
Stabby!
Not that I really want to, but we'll see. Alright. Back to the news. Alright. Alright, Joe Biden on June promised to release his list of Supreme Court nominees. So, if he had a list in June, and she died 2 days ago, why did he have a list? I mean, I'm sure it wasn't a surprise that she had like cancer like 4 times and beat it. She was a very stubborn lady, rightfully so. Ruth Bader Ginsburg. The former vice president during a campaign rally in June about his selection because Trump had said at the time that he would be releasing an update list of nominees. And he goes on to explain that doing this will, where did he say it? First, putting the influence a person's decision while making a judge, or making as a judge, which that one I agree with him. Like, that is a good thing. Because he's a liar. I don't doubt that. Well, yeah, and now everyone's in an uproar because not Clint, sorry, Orange Man put out his list and has made his selection now, and yada yada yada. Um, the second is, but I do agree that that is a possible thing. Like, I can understand this reasoning. I don't think it's the real reasoning. The second one being it's political, and she'd endure attacks for months on end without being to defend herself. Being a little melodramatic there. Third is the exact same thing as the second one, so he had a senior moment there with that one. So yeah, no, he's not doing it because people have criticized Trump so heavily about doing it. Now, Trump's doing it because he's the president. And in all honesty, like people like to say, well, it's not fair because, in 45 days he may not be president anymore. And it's like, so what? Just because it's your last 2 weeks at a job doesn't mean you stop working. It's your job to continue working until the end when you are no longer doing that job. You have 2 weeks. You train up replacements, and that's exactly what he's doing here. You train up your replacement for the job, and you do all this stuff before you leave. And then you don't have to worry about the work anymore. So, no, you are not correct, Democrats. You cannot, with a House majority Republican, or Senate majority, or whichever majority. I hate House, Senate, whatever. I hate that. The congressional Republicans, AOC says Trump is going against the dying woman's wishes. Yeah, I wasn't really going to play that one up there, Mom. But yes, they came out saying that somebody told somebody that Ruth's dying wish was that Trump didn't elect or did not replace her until a new president was elected. Yeah, my butt. Yeah, I mean, that's a big old stinky fart of lies. And it wasn't just AOC that was just news in general on that side. AOC got a hold of it and went hog wild with it because, she's a 13-year-old girl who somebody decided to give a modicum of power to and is now gone stark raving mad. But yeah, so Biden now is placating to all the liberals, trying to play it off as him being a mournful, sorrowful soul. My ass. Had it been reversed, had it been a Democratic Senate and a Democratic president, they'd have voted somebody in just as quickly. It would not matter. They're getting in an uproar because now, conspiracy theory warning here, and it's only because it makes logical sense. I'm not much for conspiracy theories, but this one, the reason why they're getting so upset is because of this. Because without Ruth in there, should the election go to a tie or a non-decision due to tampering or something of that nature, the Supreme Court is the one who decides this. If the Trumpolophagus gets somebody in there, well, then the likelihood is much greater that he will be the one who is named president. And they were probably betting on that not happening because they had majority. Well, they had less. They had a equal with a centrist. They have a middle guy, and then they have four on each side. So when Ruth was in there, they had a good chance of, even if it went to this, they were going to win the election. And that's how they were probably planning on. Again, conspiracy theory warning, no basis in reality other than these things connect correctly together in my brain. That this is how they were going to try to illegally steal the presidency. Or should I say legally steal the presidency, not illegally. Because illegal would not use the court system. They would just fraudulently make all the votes. Not, a lot of dead people voting. So, yeah. But this is all hokum. All right. We have vote by mail-in restrictions in Mississippi leave voters frustrated and confused. Voting in person is a situation we've been trying to avoid since March. It's what we've been advised to avoid by doctors at all levels, except for the lead CDC guy who said, it's perfectly fine. The same guy who you guys complain that Trump doesn't listen to. Well, he's listening to him, and so is, I'm assuming, the governor of Mississippi. He is also listening to the head honcho of the CDC saying, this is fine. This is no more dangerous than every time you go to the grocery store. Wear a mask. Now, I don't know where this is, but it sure isn't during COVID-19 because there's not one soul out here. This is, sorry. People waiting in line to vote early in Ridgeland, Mississippi on November 8, 2016. Well, guess what? It's not going to look like that, is it? There's no coronavirus during this, is there? Yeah. And this lovely, picturesque family here, Harwell and her family, have sacrificed during the pandemic, but one thing they were unwilling to give up is their vote. Under current law, Mississippi has shown the person casts their ballot on election day, which, if you can go grocery... Yeah, I already said that. Which led Harwell and 5 other plaintiffs, along with the American Civil Liberties Union, Mississippi Center of Justice, to sue the state to expand absentee voting in Mississippi. Guess what? Your lack of planning does not... Oh, well, I just forgot that saying. Your lack of planning does not constitute an emergency for me. You had 11 months to register to vote absentee. 7 months since the pandemic to register to vote absentee. Your lack of planning does not constitute an emergency on my behalf. Suck it up. Oh, gotcha. Mississippi and 4 other states, Indiana, Texas, Louisiana, Tennessee, continue to limit vote by mail access and don't consider the pandemic to be a valid reason for absentee voting. Yes. Where I'm at, they're actually saying just a little bit. There's a lot of insane here, don't get me wrong. Just not the same kind of insane. Just a different kind. Legal changes stymied access with less than 2 months until election. Many voters remain confused about what they should do. Well, there's still 2 months. You still have enough time. No, you've passed the 2-month limit. Never mind. You can go down and vote. That's your option now. You have to do it 3 months in advance to vote absentee, which, just so you're aware ahead of time, is not going to get counted anyway. And that's not a conspiracy theory, folks. They don't open them unless there's a tie. or close there to a tie. Like, I think it's like 4.3% or something like that. They don't even open those things. And they won't open your mail-ins either if it's in a state that has registered, like, walk-in voting. In all these orange states right here, and these blue ones, I assume, too, if you vote here, just be aware that everybody who decided to stay home and vote, well, you don't get a vote. You might as well have just thrown that fucker in the trash. Because they're not going to open them unless it is close enough. Sorry, that's just how it is. That's why I have been so angry at the voting system about military members for so long. Because when we're overseas, when we're literally fighting and dying for you, you don't count our ballots or our votes. You can piss off. Unclear guideline lawsuit? No, it's not unclear. You go there, you vote. Now, again, this is from November 6, 2018. Again, no COVID. These are going to be much farther apart. You're not going to be crammed millimeters from each other. It's not going to be an assembly line. It's going to be a safety line. In all honesty, every state that does mail-in voting, you need to go right now, call up your mayors and say this has to stop. Because your vote is being silenced or stolen. There's constant evidence of it happening. In every single small vote where they've done nothing but mail-in voting, there has been nothing but rampant mishandling of it. What I mean by stolen is literally when the mail carrier is throwing your votes in the trash can because they literally don't have room left in their truck and they need to get rid of something, so they just chuck it on the side of the road. And for all those of you in states where you registered for your absentee ballot, thank you for doing the right thing. However, again, mail-in ballots are not read until there is a tie or 4.6 or 4.5, whatever that percentage is. I can't remember it now. Difference between the ballot votes. So you can go ahead and just throw it in the trash can. Yeah. Oh, you might have missed it earlier, Mom. They had where they're talking about how in Chicago there are people shooting at the the postal worker employees. I don't think picking up your vote's worth me dying for. I'm sorry. But that's the vote by mail. Let's see what else we got. Congressional Biden challenges Senate Republic in blistering Supreme Court speech. All right. So Joe Biden. So as if many remember, in 2016, Obama was trying to do the same thing that the Trump is going. Why? Why were they shooting him? Because they wanted to. They have no explanation as to why. Just target practice? No, more than likely just to scare postal. This is just an assumption. And this is not based on any fact. My assumption would be that they're doing it to try to stop the mail from working. Yes, there is. There's a blister there, a blister there, and a blister there. The man is going to die a month after. He's got what are those, liver spots or whatever? That's blistering. But man literally looks like a walking mummy. It is terrible. Joe Biden made an explicit plea to the Senate on Sunday to vote on President Donald Trump coming Supreme Court nominee ahead of November election. To not vote, sorry. And like I said, he's doing this because back in 2016, when we again had a Republican Senate, a Republican controlled Senate that they chose not to allow him to have it. Now, here's the thing. We live in a, for whatever reason, and it shouldn't be this way in my personal opinion, I think we should have 12 different parties. It doesn't matter how many parties are out there, as long as you agree with the person you're voting for. Yes, indeed, Karen. Um, Sorry, I lost my train of thought there. There was a Republican-held Senate at the time, and the Republicans, the same guy who said he'll vote on it now, and now I can't remember his name, and I've closed the other tab, but he said at that time, no, we're not going to vote this in. Why? Because the American public has already said Republican. They said, we are not going to vote in your Democrat stuff because we don't like what the Democrats are doing. So therefore, we're going to wait till we see the results, and then we'll do it again. Yeah, he's spoiling. But yeah, so that is why, that's the difference. Republicans control the Senate. They're not going to vote in the Democratic nomination. Not going to happen. That's like, there's two different sides of the same coin, mind you, but they're not going to work together in that regard because it greatly helps one side and greatly hinders the other. So they're not going to do it. Now this time there's a Republican Senate, again, with a Republican president. Yes, they're going to do it. Yes, they should do it. Because that's what the American people have put into place. You need to respect what we, the American people, vote on. You got to stop thinking you know better than us. Because you don't. That's why we vote you into office. We vote you in. If we like what you do, then we keep you there. If we don't, we remove you. You should plead, barter, beg to us. Because we are the ones who control your ability to be a senator or a congressman or a president or anything like that. We are the ones who decide. And I'm tired of them thinking they know better than we do about what we want. We will say many things to polls and things like that. Either A, because we think it's funny. B, because backlash. Because if you say, oh, I'm going to vote, I'm voting for Trump, those are supposed to be private polls. But for some reason, next week, you're fired from your job. Well, no, that's backlash. That's political backlash that no one should have to live with. But what they're going to do? They're just going to say, yeah, sure, I'll vote Democrat. Yeah, Biden's my man. To the dude on the other side of the phone who you intend to never speak to again. Because you don't care. You'd rather keep your job and leave everything else up to up to that, than when you are in your booth alone and nobody else can see it and you are 100% sure that your vote is 100% not anonymous, but uninfluenceable. Yep, that word's gone too. You cannot be influenced by others. You will then vote for the person who you fully intended to vote for. That's why Trump won in 2016. That's why Trump would win now. Whether or not he does is entirely up. That is how he's going to do it. There's going to be a bunch of people who say, no, I'm not voting for Trump. And then they're going to go to the booth and go, yep, fuck the old dude and the crazy lady who puts parents in jails for what their kids do. That's what's going to happen. And then they're like, well, all these other R's seem much better than the D's right next to them. So I'm just going to keep going down the line in the R column. And the occasional I column because that person actually makes sense. Yeah, so Biden's pitching this fit about all this. I'm not going to play the video of his nonsense. I know I've already seen memes of him. He's waving up a teleprompter again, so as riveting as he might be, he's not actually the one who wrote it, nor is he the one, by this point, they've got, they got little strings back there moving them around. He called the Senate Republic a to help de-escalate tensions and follow their conscience. For the cool the flames that have engulfed our country. Guess what? We didn't start the fire. Joe Biden did, and so did the Democrats. Yes. It wasn't us. It wasn't the normal folks who started this fire. It's the left. And that holds true for the wildfires too, by the way. I know they ripped Joe Rogan on it, but he was right. People were starting wildfires. Oh, I'm sorry. He said forest fires. That's so terrible of him. Now, it doesn't mean they were all started that way, but at least one was. Because he's in, I don't know if they caught him. Yeah, they did. They caught him and charged him with arson. Because he started a wildfire near Portland, Oregon. Joe Rogan said they're starting fires. Don't worry, I don't plan on singing anytime soon there. But I got it from, I got my singing ability from my mother. And it just goes on to explain, they just explain the same thing that I said as to why in 2016 and 2018 the people already have spoken, he says. And they have. Ah, yes. The call to radicalize. Go away. Love you too, Mom. The country had barely started processing the news of Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg's death Friday when radical leftists began calling for violence should President Trump and the Senate Republic dare to fill the vacant seat on the High Court. Well, here's the thing. Regardless if it's a good thing or not, let's say I am in the quandary of a decision, and you walk up to me and you tell me, hey, do what I tell you or I'm going to shoot you in the leg. I'm going, oh, no, really? Well, I'm just going to do what I want to do, and you go ahead and pull that trigger and I'll kill you. You get my point? I'm going to not do what you say to do for the specific fact that you have threatened me. And that is what she is doing right here. And Donald Trump, although has gotten better, he is still a hothead in general. Like, he does fly off the cuff a lot. That's who he is as an individual. Like, he's a raw human being. He is not calm and collected all the time. He is a very raw human being. And he will, when you threaten him in some way or something like that, he will often act the fool. And that's exactly what she encouraged him to do by airing this. Now, it was, I don't know if it says it in here, burn Congress down before letting Trump appoint. Really? And these are the people that the Democrats want running this place. Chuck Schumer burned down the Senate. Not figuratively, I mean literally. Arson. Really? Poor Joe Rogan. How illegal is it to obstruct or burn down access to a Senate chamber? This woman reached more people in 5 minutes than most people reach in their lifetime. I could not imagine getting 1.8 million views during a stream. I barely get 6. See, at 11:17, which I believe she started at 11, 81.1 thousand people were watching this. 81,000 radicals. 81,000 people who heard somebody they look up to, kids mostly, somebody they think is such a good person, calling for radicalism, for burning down, for creating civil unrest. Now, I don't think it says in the commentary, and I know I've seen it in the other stuff, in the other ones. I did not have the time to sit there and watch the whole thing because it made me want to vomit. But she calls for violence. I do know that. To be sure, October did not issue an explicit call for violence, but implicated meaning of her statement Friday was clear. She did say it. At this point, threats of violence should be expected from the radical left. Let them have their riots. It's ridiculous. Yeah, AOC, this person, she needs to be brought up on sedition charges immediately. Karen says, she is entertainment as to what crazy crap we'll come up with. Yeah, this woman is insane. This woman needs to be brought up on sedition charges. By calling for this as a representative of the government, you are actually creating sedition. You know what one of the lovely punishments for this sedition is? Well, that's death. Specifically public death in the old stuff, but I don't think they let you do that anymore. That means public hanging, by the way. But unfortunately, she is not a member of Texas. I believe it's the only state that has that left. But I'd be front row center. That's supposed to be down here. All right, and we will be jumping down the AOC train once again. AOC says options on the table to block Supreme Court nominee confirmation, including impeachment. Oh, goody. Let's waste more of our government's time and money. Send her to China. Karen puts, put her in an immigration cage. No, that would prove a point that she's been making for a long time. Send her to China. I love how they make you say this ungodly name. No, sorry, AOC. Her name is AOC. Must consider all options to block Trump's admission, pushing the Supreme Court nominee vacancy for that Ruth Ginsburg left. 87 died Friday due to complications surrounding metastatic pancreatic cancer. And from what I saw of the Trumpolophagus' little speech after her death, he was actually quite sincere. I don't think he actually disliked the woman, to be honest. I don't think anybody ever really disliked her, because as much as she was on the left, she wasn't a left radicalist. She actually ran that center. The center that most of us want our nominees to be. We don't ride the outside, people. Stop going there. And that's why the Republicans are winning, because they're leaning to the center. They're not leaning, like, as the right moves left, the left moves way over to the left. The right isn't what it was in the 90s. It's not, church, God, blah, they aren't those people anymore. They haven't been for years and years and years. Bush disaster 2 was not as terrible as we all thought it would be. We were at war for 8 years. For the entire 8 years or 8 of the years I was in, well, no, actually, he was, yeah, so for his entire, not that the Democrats are doing any better, because we were literally at war for the 10 years I was in the military, and that's spanning 3 total presidential elections. This is the first. Trump is the first president not to declare a new war in like 16 years or 26 years or some crap like that. In fact, he's just done a lot of much. He's prospered towards peace, people. I don't get it. I don't get why you hate him so much. Yeah, basically this is a short one. They're talking about moving into impeachment processes and all this other stuff. Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi at the forefront. That woman needs to go away. She is as old as Ruth. She needs to leave with Ruth. Ruth is good. Hell, how about this? How about we go to God and ask him to switch? You can have Pelosi. We'll take Ruth back. I'd rather have Ruth than Pelosi. Now, don't get me wrong. I wasn't happy that Ruth pushed through the assault weapons ban in the 90s, but she allowed it to go through without striking it down in the courts. But, she wasn't the deciding vote anyway. That would be the resident centrist. I just think she's the only one left from that era, if I'm not mistaken. But that's not how we should get new blood into our office. We should not get it by others dying. It's time we put in, not for the justices, they should be the only ones who don't have a term limit. Because they need to be the Pelosi is pickled. She's good for a while. Okay. I like that. But yeah, so AOC and Nancy Pelosi are out to make sure this doesn't happen, and they're going to waste your taxpayer dollars doing it. That's why I actually wanted to bring that up. Small update. The woman suspected of sending, first of all, why would you send anything through the mail? That is like the most tracked thing there is. I'm going to send him poison through the mail. Not going to happen. He doesn't open his own mail, first of all. He is given things that are from the mail. He doesn't sit there with a letter opener all day. He has other people do it. The best she would have done is killed some 22-year-old intern. The woman is insane. Oops. That's the wrong one. Well, this is not that one. I either closed the tab or something happened. But yeah, so they caught the lady who did that. This is a much better story. This is about Trump calling the deputies who were ambushed. Who? Oh, they sent somebody sent Donald Trump ricin poison in the mail. Unfortunately, I closed the tab. I can go to here. Let me go get it again. There we go. Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. Sorry, I must have closed it on accident. Woman is suspected of sending ricin tainted package to Donald Trump at White House, arrested at U.S.-Canada border. They don't say her name for whatever reason. Yeah. So, The two deputies injured during an ambush shooting in California on September 12th received a phone call from President Trump last week as they were recovering in the hospital, according to authorities. The deputies, a 31-year-old mother and a 24-year-old man, were in a marked patrol vehicle outside a Metro train station in Compton on September 12th. When the police said a suspect approached the passenger side window, it's not said, we saw the video, shot them multiple times and ran from the scene. So the amazing thing is they are alive, and that's good. The fact that President Trump went out of his way to call these people. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't think he didn't do it for political reasons, but the fact that it was done is an amazing thing. No matter what, political or not, the two cops had to feel good about what occurred. It helped. It lifts their spirits. And you know what? This is the start. This is where it starts. This is where Republicans start, by doing good things for the dumbasses in California. Make them realize the error of their ways, if they haven't already. I know there was talks of adding 2 more states to the United States. Or basically 1 more state, taking part of California, melding it into part of Oregon, splitting off part of Oregon, and making that, and then melding that with the other part of California. So you're like rearranging states, but you end up with 2 more Democratic states, which is at least 2 more electoral votes. Somehow this whole math worked out. Like, basically they're going to take the entire coastline for California will be Chile, in a sense, where it just runs along the coast like that, and they're going to give everything else to other people. See, this is why I don't like the beach. I swear, it breeds stupidity. Everybody who's around beaches are so dumb. I have always hated the beach. It's got to be something with the sun. They just get exposed to it too much. It fries their brains or something. I don't know. But yeah, this is a really awesome thing. And always, when it comes to this, we here at Loot Goblins, Karen, we don't want them. I know. However, if they do that, they basically make it so you can only ever win. Democrats can only ever win. There was this weird math they did because of population density. Portland by itself, being a smaller state, connected with the other northern left part of California, makes a state that gets like 18 electoral votes. You get 2. The other state created by the separation from California gets 2. So you trade your 8 votes for a total of 16 votes, and then reduce the possibility, because Oregon hasn't always been a blue state. You take their possible win of 8 votes down to no more than 4 votes. So it just kind of flip-flops it around so that they can only ever win due to the electoral college. That, and the other states they want to bring some of the islands into becoming states. All right, on to some funny news. No more of this political mumbo jumbo. We are done with that. We're on to some funny news. All right. Yeah, we'll probably just finish out the day on news. Just days after scientists said they discovered the presence of phosphane in the clouds of Venus, the head of Russia's space agency declares Earth's evil twin, being Venus, a Russian planet. The director of the Russian space agency said the second planet from the sun is a Russian planet, as the former Soviet Union landed a probe on Venus decades ago. And this is true. Now, if I had to choose between them claiming the second closest the second closest planet, and us choosing the fourth closest planet, we'll take Mars any day of the week. But the reason why, and they said they soft landed a probe onto Venus, um, and they quote, and I quote, "It's like hell over there." And so the cool thing about this is, or the funny thing about this is by them claiming this, that means they have rights to anything we mine out of the atmosphere, and they say it is crucial to us getting to like a actual human beings to Mars to be able to mine this as we do a loop. So we use the gravitational pull of the Earth, we bounce off of Venus and use it like a slingshot to go to Mars, and we'll get there faster while using less fuel. And while doing this, we're going to harvest fuel from the atmosphere of Venus. However, to do that, we would have to pay Russia, which I think is hilarious. But I just think it's awesome. I love space. Venus shows signs of potential alien life in its clouds, scientists find. The lead professor, yeah, that's the other cool thing. They said there might have been life on Venus at one time. Not anymore. Just like Mars as well. They have shown, like, from the Mars rover and stuff, they found basically like little shells engraved in stuff. Little tiny microorganisms. Alright. Dungeons and Dragons has been going for 38 years. This, I wanted to point this out because we do D&D on this channel. And it's talking about how our world has changed as far as nerddom. It's a very long article, and I'm not going to read the whole thing. Sorry, not going to happen. But it talks about, for the most part, how back when it was first created, there was a stigma around playing D&D and other tabletop games and things like that. Now, they go on to say this isn't a tabletop game because it is, you can do it with pen and paper. It's considered a pen and paper game, technically. But that's neither here nor there. But how back in the 80s and the 90s, there was this massive stigma around it where, you know, they'd get bullied and all this stuff. And through, in all honesty, I equate, and I know there was changes a little bit beforehand as far as like nerd culture in general, that people started embracing it because, one, it started making people a lot of money. Therefore, it had to start becoming something else, or you would have you would have a lower percentage of people experimenting into the intellectual because they would be ostracized by their general communities. But as it came to be known, you know, I think the biggest proprietor to this happening, the start, would be Bill Gates, because he's never not worn a sweater first. But he's always been a nerd. And he is the richest man in the United States, or was. I think he's been surpassed by somebody now. I don't know. I don't keep that close tabs on it. I think the guy Apple took over or whatever. But it doesn't really matter. Neither here nor there. But he's really, really rich. Well, unpleasant, conceited women, not all, mind you. This is not an all-encompassing thing. But there are many women out there who seek that as their main priority for marrying somebody, or, you know, getting into a relationship with somebody, which should not at all be the reason why you get into a relationship. You should get into a relationship because you have common interests. Well, the thing is those women, the quote-unquote gold diggers, and I'm using quotations there, realized real quick that there was a problem with their plans, in the fact that most of these very rich men are also very smart, and they have prenuptials. Yes, you are absolutely right. They did the same thing with magic. Karen says they also thought it was a part of the occult and evil. Yes. They just didn't understand what it was. there is a certain percentage of that as well. But and it's people using imaginations. It must be evil. Um, yeah, and I actually say that right there. But my main goal of this is to be funny. Is basically the gold diggers figured out that, hey, these guys won't let us. They won't let us take their money because they do all this lawyer stuff, and then we don't get anything. Now these are people who are not scrupulous. These are not most women. It's not a generalization, but there are people out there who are like this. Men too, by the way. This is not specifically subject to women. I'm just using them as an example. They are the more prolific example of it. But men, by all means, do this. By all accounts, do this. And so they figured that, well, that we better just, toe the line then. I want the money. I want to keep, this lifestyle. I can't get out of it. So I might as well learn something. I might as well, enjoy something he does. And then they found out that they enjoyed this game. And then it actually this is a hyperbolic situation. This is not based in any true measure of reality other than what we saw over the progression of time. And as it progressed, people started realizing, hey, this can be fun. You can do this in large groups of people. You can do this with drinking. So it started incorporating with all the other things in the world. And then you have things, the guys like over at Critical Role and many, many others. There are a lot of others. That's just the most well-known one, where they actually took it to the mainstream. They took professional, not actors, but voice actors. They took professional voice actors so that they could change their voices during different characters and things like that. And they made it popular mainstream, beyond just being no longer hated or ostracized. Now it's mainstream. Now people go out of their way to do it. Now people look for groups. There's social media had a lot to do with it, I'm sure, too. So it's really good to know that all of this, and it's only getting more and more prolific with COVID-19. Because now you're trapped inside. What's more fun than doing this? And remember, if you do enjoy watching this, and or playing this game or watching people play this game, there are other ways to do it too. If you can't leave your house or you don't have people nearby, Roll20, the program. If you watch our D&D 40K stuff, we use Roll20, and I use it as a way to show you guys what we're doing in the game. It's just a lot easier as far as visuals go for that. So I just really like that this is a good message. Get out there, play your D&D. I recommend not playing the 5e Plus. They basically destroyed the game. They will undo it eventually. They do this on occasion. Just play the original 5e. If you're a first-time player, it's fine. If you want a more complex, there's Pathfinder. You can go to our website, and if you like 40K stuff, dnd40k.com, the rules will start posting there. Some of them are already posted. You can start from there and just kind of build on it yourself as well. But go out there, have fun with that. That's a lot of fun. And one last thing for all those who enjoy drinking, Miller Lite has given away a bar. So Miller Lite realized that people aren't going out to the bars, and the bars is their main source of income, so they might as well bring the bar to you. So there's this quirky ball art thing, and it's just kind of cool. It comes with a popcorn machine and little benches, and it's just something you stick in your backyard. Kind of neat, kind of cool that during this time, even the beer companies have found their way to give away $10,000 to one lucky fan. Enjoy. I don't drink myself, but I'm sure you enjoyed it. I just thought it was a bit of good news that people could enjoy. All right. But that's it for the news today, folks. I burned through it pretty quick. My voice is sore. I have been without water for the past 2 hours, and that's a lot of talking, folks. Um, as always, we thank you for joining us, or myself. If you have any news you want seen on here, let me know. Leave it in the comments below. I'd be more than happy to take a look. I try my best to pick what I think is most important. It doesn't mean it's the most important thing to you. By all means, you can tell me what's important to you. Bye, Karen. And we will see you guys all next time. Thank you so much. And remember, as always, have fun. That is the goal of everything.